Hey everyone, welcome to Echoes of the Earth, the podcast where we talk about the real issues affecting our environment and what can we do about it. I'm Lois Alexandra A. Fortaleza, and today we're diving into something that's happening right in front of us, yet not enough people are talking about it. Mindanao is home to some of most beautiful landscape and diverse ecosystems in the Philippines. But despite its beauty, the reality is grim. Every year we lose more forests, more wildlife, and more of our natural resources to illegal activities and unsustainable practices. It's not just a problem for the future. It's happening right now, and we need to start paying attention.
I couldn't agree more, Luis. By the way, I am Alicia Kirayala, one of your hosts for this podcast, along with Camille Abayata, Lorenzo Limhap, and Zed Terreno. Today's topic is Mindanao's environmental crisis in alignment with our assigned SDG 15, Life on Land. It is a wonderful opportunity to brainstorm ideas and create an impact on our listeners by sharing our thoughts on deforestation.
Exactly. So today, we're going to break it down what's happening, what's causing it, and most importantly, what we can do about it. Oh, and if you're thinking this doesn't affect us, trust me, it does.
You're right, Camille. Let's also not forget that Mindanao is known as the food basket of the Philippines. The land we are losing is the same land that provides food for millions of Filipinos. Imagine the impact this will have on food security. Imagine risking prices, fewer jobs, and families struggling to put food on their tables because the land can no longer sustain them. This is why we cannot afford to ignore this crisis. So, stick around because we're not just here to talk about the problems. We're here to find solutions. This conversation that needs to happen, and it needs to happen now. So, let's get into it.
Alright, let's start with some hard facts. Did you guys know that the Philippines has lost 1.42 million hectares from the years 2001 until 2022? This information was loaded from the Climate Change Commission, and the most affected areas are the following and are in order. Palawan as the most affected area, followed by Agusan del Sur, Zamboanga del Norte, Davao Oriental, and Quezon Province. Notice that most of the places affected are from Mindanao, and the only right reaction to this is fright and motivation. We are now in an era where nations depend on economic growth, and in economic growth, there is urban development. In urban development, there are infrastructures and so many projects being built, causing the scarcity of trees in Mindanao. Although we cannot entirely blame this on urban development alone, we can't also deny that it is one of the leading causes of tree loss.
That's an insane amount of forest loss. Imagine that. Millions of trees, each one playing a crucial role in cleaning air, preventing floods, and providing homes for wildlife, just wiped out. And what's worse, it's not stopping anytime soon.
And the scariest part, That's just from deforestation alone. When you add illegal mining, pollution, and climate change, the damage is even worse. We're seeing landslides in areas that were once covered in thick forests. Rivers are drying up, and local farmers are struggling to grow crops because land just isn't the same anymore.
Yeah, and the effects aren't just on nature. Communities are suffering. Farmers are losing their land. Indigenous groups are being displaced. And we're seeing more landslides and floods than ever before.
It's crazy, right? But here's the thing. This isn't some distant future problem. It's happening now. And if we don't do something, imagine what Mindanao will look like in 10 years.
Let's take a moment to think about what this means for future generations. What kind of world are we leaving behind? If deforestation continues at this rate, children born today will grow up in a world where clean water is scarce, natural disasters are more frequent, and biodiversity is just something they read about in the books. So what's really happening here? Why is this destruction continuing even when we know how much damage it causes? Well, let's talk about that next.
So, let's talk about the main culprits. Companies and even individuals are cutting down trees at an alarming rate, illegally and legally.
Exactly, and what's even worse, a lot of this deforestation is really happening illegally. There are laws in place, but let's be honest, who's really enforcing them? We have areas that are supposed to be protected, yet logging still happens. Why? Because people can get away with it. And not just small-time loggers. Big corporations are involved too, taking what they want and leaving the land in ruins.
And then there's illegal mining. Mining companies come in, dig up the land, extract valuable minerals, and then boom, they just leave. No cleanup, no restoration, just destruction. And the communities nearby, they're left with contaminated water and unlivable conditions.
Pollution is another big one. Factories dump waste into rivers. People throw trash everywhere. And oil spills go unchecked. It's like we're poisoning our own home. And we're acting as if it's not going to catch up with us.
And then there's pollution. Factories dumping waste into rivers, people throwing trash everywhere, oil spills. It's like we're poisoning our own home.
Well, the good news is people are fighting back. There are tree planting projects, sustainable farming initiatives, and even local communities protecting their land.
And individuals like us can do something too. We can support businesses promoting sustainability, avoiding single-use plastics, and spreading awareness.
Also, pushing for stronger environmental policies is key. Planting trees is one thing, but we need actual enforcement against illegal activities. Stricter regulations on deforestation, mining, and land conversion must be implemented alongside harsher penalties for violators. Governments, businesses, and communities must work together to promote sustainable land management, restore degraded ecosystems, and protect biodiversity. Without concrete action, conservation efforts will fall short and the damage to our land will continue unchecked.
Exactly. We know that changes won't happen overnight, but if people are made to be aware of these problems, and their effects, we can fix this issue that we have created.
That's what this is all about. Not just talking, but doing. So if you are wondering how can you help, here's what you need to know.
Step 1. Stay informed. Follow environmental pages and read about what's happening, and don't just scroll past it. Most of us, if not all, have sufficient resources to keep ourselves updated and informed about what's happening in our surroundings. We have newspapers, televisions, and especially social media that most of us get to encounter every day and everywhere. Social media is simply one touch away from our screens. We have diverse applications, and our roles as users are to fact check and disseminate information that are truthful. Let us not permit ignorance, and instead, let's all be knowledgeable. I believe in the saying that knowledge is power. Therefore, being aware of what's happening in our environment can help us understand the world around us and give us the ability for change.
Step 2. Support eco-friendly initiatives. Buy from sustainable brands, reduce waste, and take part in cleanup drives.
Step 3. Use your voice. Join movements, sign petitions, and call on companies or politicians who aren't doing their part.
Most importantly, start small. Even the little things like using reusable bags or planting a single tree make a single difference in our lives.
Thank you guys. Alright, so what can you do? Because let's be honest, talking about these issues is important. But what really matters is action. Here's can you be the part of solution. Just like what the three of them said, first one is to stay informed. Don't just scroll past environmental news. Read it, understand it, and share it. The more people know, the more pressure we put on those power. Step 2. Support eco-friendly initiatives, right? It should support eco-friendly initiatives because choose businesses that prioritize sustainability, reduce waste, join cleanup drives because every small action counts. Step 3. Use your voice. Sign petitions, join movements, call out companies and politicians who are failing to protect our environment. Because the more we speak up, the harder will them to ignore us. And most importantly, start small, but start now. So, are you in? The fight for Mindanao starts with us. Let's do our part before it's too late. That's it for today's episode of Echoes of the Earth. Thank you for listening, and we hope that you learned something new. And if you found this helpful, you can share it, talk about it, and most importantly, act on it. Thank you very so much.
We run faster and faster. But what are we running from? Is it the truth? The horror? The future we made? There is no escape because we are still here. Life in all forms. We still have them, but they need our help. However, this is the harsh reality. Life in all forms are being taken away. But this isn't the end. We have a choice to be better, to collectively take action and make an effort, a chance to rebuild, a chance to heal, and a chance to fight for what we deserve. We can make a change. We can be the change. We are the future. Chase the legacy and be the prophecy. This is Mindanao.